strong storm. It's sometimes 1 to 2 inches per hour is a lot of rain. We're talking about rainfall rates that are up to about 4 to 5 inches per hour. So there will be a lot of flooding behind these storms as well today.
And you can kind of see this. I just called up, Josh, the rainfall estimate from the Shreveport radar just in the past 3 hours. And I'll do some clicking here and show you exactly some of the rainfall totals that we're seeing. This is just in the last 3 hours. And you can see the flash flood warning here in Red River County. So this swath here, we've seen 2 to 3 inches of rain. Clear that off and move this to the south, and you can see even more impressive rainfall totals with this very strong storm that is, again, just west of our viewing area. So here also looking at some close to 4 inches in spots, and we're talking at 3 hours. And keep in mind, in April, we get, what, 5 inches in an average April? So we're talking about, 3/4 of an April's worth of rain in 3 hours. So obviously, you're going to get some flooding issues, and we do have the flash flood warning there. And probably we'll see this area expand towards the northeast. So we could eventually see some flooding issues from that as well moving forward. And just to kind of move the map forward, and again, we did have yesterday some flooding concerns here in McCurtain County, and that's going to be another area that we'll be watching these storms very closely. As you can see, this swath is expanding into the southeastern sections of McCurtain County. So again, the heavy rain, as I pointed out at times earlier, going to remain an issue moving forward here. So again, that is the latest on what we have right now. We looking at 3 possible rotations. We have one here. Kind of hard to see anything to definitely tell you exactly what we're looking at in terms of an exact location. Kind of zero into these, if anything, close to Lanesport and Foreman. So Winthrop, Alene, this area, especially Foreman, Alene, could be impacted. Still a bit of out and in, so we still have a possibility of something spinning there north of Lanesport, headed towards Foreman, Alene, Ben Lomond, and even Wilton. Should keep an eye on this. We do have a pretty good signature here, or at least a motion towards the radar there near Eagletown. Let's see if I can. I've had trouble doing this earlier. I'm going to try to call up the same product from the Fort Smith radar. Looks like I'm going to have luck. So you can see there's the away. So again, it's seeing the strong outbound there, so from the Fort Smith radar. So this would be the area of concern here that is now near Eagletown, and that would be moving up towards probably up into the north and northwestern half of Sevier County. Let's go back to the Shreveport radar and show you what's happening here with the overall view. And you can see Josh mentioned the heavy rain. We do have the very heavy rain that follows. Again, the circulations tend to happen on the leading edge of this, and it's followed by, again, some very heavy rain that we're now experiencing there in Curtin County. You can see the heavy rain over DeKalb right now. Megan is, imagine she might head to Clarksville to see if we can see any damage.
And actually, I told her, just because the rain's so heavy and it's probably difficult to get over there, send her over towards Texarkana just to await that other storm. So she may eventually head over that way. That's true. And then come in behind the storms and check for damage. But I believe she is going to be headed towards Texarkana.
And get out of that rain, because get out, you head towards New Boston as quickly as you possibly can and get ahead of it. All right, so let's go back to our storm here that we have been looking at here in Upshur County. And again, you can see it is, as Josh mentioned earlier, pretty much wrapped in rain. Let's see if we can see anything as far as a debris signature. That's kind of hard to see exactly. Look at the velocity scan here very quickly if I can get that to work. Obviously, it doesn't like me very much. There we go. So again, this is the area of concern here, or tornado, which is now north of Gilmer, and it is moving up towards Lone Star, and this part, extreme southern part of from Dangerfield to Lone Star could be the area impacted most. At the very least, you're going to see quite a bit of wind on the northern parts, northwestern half, if you will, of Lake of the Pines. That's going to be an issue there. But this is the, again, the flashing purple box means that we do have a confirmed tornado right now, which is moving across the northern sections of Upshur County. Again, if you're watching in Pittsburgh, Texas, as I move this, you'll see that it is moving towards the northeast, and that motion more than likely will continue. So you can see the motion that we've seen here towards the north and east. So it is going to move to the south of Pittsburgh. Obviously, you can get quite a bit of rain from that. Same thing for Mount Pleasant. Omaha probably will see the worst of this, maybe stay to your south, although these things can reorganize. So again, we'll have to keep an eye on it. But it does look like Dangerfield, Lone Star, Midway, maybe Hugh Springs, Marietta, Douglasville, maybe eventually Linden, the central sections of Cass County, as this moves further downstream, or locations where this could be headed here moving forward. Let's go to the shear product here with the radar and show you what that is showing. And this will basically kind of highlight where, at the very least, we have some wind issues. So we have seen quite a bit of wind in the Gilmer, Texas area, and you can see that the progress of that. So this kind of, you move that forward, so you can see we will see the wind issues here along the northwestern half of Lake the Pines up to perhaps Dangerfield, and if you project this forward, Midway, Avenger, Linden eventually. So again, that's even though you may not experience the tornado directly, you're going to get quite a bit of wind at the very least from this, as this moves into southern Morris County and the southwestern sections of Cass County. So that is the right now the strongest circulation that we're looking at. I mentioned earlier that we have to keep an eye on the storms that are further to the south. I kind of pointed out this area here that was at that time west of Jacksonville. Doesn't look like it's gotten its act together anymore, which obviously is good news, but it is a ways away from the radar. So we'll be watching that very closely as well moving forward during the rest of the afternoon, and as we progress our way through the rest of the evening hours this evening. All right, so let's move back and talk about the other storms that we have here. And you can see that we do have this one circulation. Curious that the Weather Service, I believe this is Little Rock, issues the warnings for, if I'm correct, for Polk County, Polk County. It looks like the severe thunderstorm warning, so that's a good sign there. But we still have, again, this circulation that is now near Foreman that is going to continue to move towards the northeast and kind of zero in Winthrop, Aleen, areas that I pointed out earlier. Maybe Ben Lomond, perhaps even Wilton could be in line to be impacted by this. And after that moves through, again, you're going to be looking at quite a bit as far as heavy rain across the area as well. Mention the heavy rain. Let's go back over to the radar once again, and you can see Megan now moving, as Josh mentioned, is going to be moving over towards Texarkana to kind of give us and wait to see if we have any issues with the storms that are further to the south. So we'll take a look at the view from the, you can see the heavy rain there from the truck as she is now making her way outside of DeKalb, headed towards New Boston, and eventually we'll park it, maybe get something to eat there in Texarkana, and wait to see where the storm that is now again southwest of or west of Lake the Pines, keep tabs on where that is going, and maybe check out what happens from that as it moves into areas probably a little bit south of Texarkana here later on this evening. So just kind of give you again that she's going to be hanging out right here in Texarkana as we're waiting to see what happens with this storm as it excuse me, moves again into the southern sections of Miller County. And again, given the motion that we've seen, it probably would move something like this, a little bit south of Texarkana if it lasts that long. So that's why we're sending the truck to Texarkana to see if it causes any issues as it gets closer to the Texarkana area. Let's, again, we have the, kind of touched on the two tornado warnings that we have right now across the area where we have the most concern. Let's kind of go forward into tomorrow here as we have another possibility of some severe weather tomorrow as we wait that storm south of Pittsburgh to evolve a bit more. So take a look at the outlook tomorrow from the Storm Prediction Center. And again, it does look like we'll see the frontal system itself kind of sweep through the area during the day, and where the front arrives later, probably in the afternoon. We will see the thunderstorms increase in intensity, and you can see the outlook here from the Storm Prediction Center showing you the marginal slight and enhanced risk. So the risk is going to be highest here over especially the southeastern half of the Arklatex. And once again, all severe weather threats will be possible with these storms as they make their way through the area tomorrow. So we'll take a look at Robin's Tornado Futurecast during the nighttime hours tonight. You can see the little decrease, which could occur. Now, the HRRR not as aggressive with that decrease during the evening as Futurecast is, so let's keep our fingers crossed that Futurecast is more right. But you can see the increase in the storms very late tonight as the front itself makes some progress. The front located right about here by 7 a.m. We would see it move to the east. And by the time we get to 5 o'clock, it looks like it's just to the west of Shreveport. And this late tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, could be the time frame where we see the brunt of the strongest storms in the Shreveport area. And then we'll see the storms move off towards the east, probably exiting our area sometime very late tomorrow evening. This stops at Sunday morning at 6 a.m. And then Sunday, probably lots of clouds, lots of wind, and temperatures, believe it or not, staying in the 50s for highs on Sunday. Now, as far as the tornado possibilities that we're looking at tomorrow, you can see the issues tonight. Again, Futurecast probably not going to go out far enough to see that. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it is. But nonetheless, it does look like here, if it did, it would show you that most of the rotation potential will be East Texas, Northwest Louisiana. So that's what we're looking at for tomorrow. Obviously, some issues with hail and wind as well. So let's go back to Shreveport, the radar in Shreveport.
I will say there is a new warning. We were talking about that storm in McCurtain County that the Little Rock Weather Service had put a severe thunderstorm warning on. The Shreveport Weather Service has decided they will carry the tornado warning into the very northern sections of Howard and Sevier counties there. So they're still seeing some rotation, or may have gotten some reports maybe of some damage with that that they're trying to iron out, but they've decided to carry that warning forward.
All right, so we have, this is a view from, again, the Fort Smith radar is right up here, so it's obviously quite a bit closer than the Shreveport radar, and again, you can see it looks like, if anything, we have this area right in here is the location of where that could, so we could be, it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly where we're looking at right now as far as the location of that. If anything, close to, maybe a little bit to the northeast of DeQueen Lake, so Gillum could be an area impacted by that, and maybe the northern sections of Howard County. So again, that is again, kind of hard to give you exact as we're doing with the other storms that are further to the south, but that looks like where this is, that rotation is perhaps going at the present time. So again, it does look like a little bit of shear right in here as well near DeQueen. So again, all that will move fairly quickly across the northern sections of DeQueen and into the northern sections of Howard County moving forward. So let me switch this back over to the Shreveport radar and take a look at the velocity scan of the radar and show you that again, even here it's somewhat even more difficult. So again, it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly with that circulation. We do have the circulation here, which is moving through the Foreman, Texas area. So red away, green towards. So we have a circulation indicated near the Foreman, Arkansas area. Again, that's moving up towards Aleen, up towards Ben Lomond, and eventually you have to keep an eye on it in the Nashville, Arkansas area as well. So that is a possible tornado. Again, this is the one that we were tracking earlier that moved north of DeKalb, that the thunder truck just drove through the heavy rain as a result of that storm. Didn't see anything as far as the touchdown there on 259 from the thunder truck, but we still have a little bit of rotation there. But again, notice the boxes here are red, meaning that there's nothing confirmed, just some spin being detected on the radar that indicates that a tornado is possible, especially on a day like today where we do have all the ingredients in place. So again, the thunder truck headed to Texarkana to wait on the arrival and passage of this tornado right now, which again, we did have some debris detected back over towards the Rosewood, Texas area in the western sections of Upshur County. That circulation has since moved into the northwestern sections or northeastern sections of Upshur County and is now approaching Lone Star. Basically anywhere here from Dangerfield and Point South, I would be in the place of safety, the closet. If you have basement obviously a good place to go. Those are few and far between here, but nonetheless, that is going to be moving into the southern sections of Morris County. Lone Star Lake, if you know someone may be doing something there along that lake, or Lake of the Pines, obviously we do have that circulation in that tornado, which is moving into that particular part of the area. And that is, I mentioned earlier, you can see the track of this. So we'll see this move again, Midway, Avenger, Douglasville, perhaps Linden. Again, we're talking wind here, especially as we move forward. So I'll give you some ETAs here once again. So we're looking at this located right about in here right now. So Lone Star, very shortly here, probably in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Hughes Springs, Midway, this part of Cass County, about 20 minutes from now, 5:45, and then we'll see it near, maybe north of Linden at around 6. And then if it continues this path, Atlanta, Queen City, 6:20, and then we're talking Fouke, 6:45-ish is what we're looking at as far as ETA there in the central sections of Miller County. So you can see it's moving. We calculated earlier about 35 miles per hour, and I think the times that we provided have been pretty close. So I think we have the times set pretty well. So that's again the potential path. And again, this is a narrow band. So if you project this forward, you can see some of the areas that will be impacted by some of the, especially the wind issues here moving forward.
And I would say, yeah, the rotation looks like it is weakened with that.
Yeah,
but it's likely probably a big swath of damaging winds there. We had a report there of the wind gusts up to about 65 miles per hour. So definitely some severe wind gusts, and would expect the winds with that will be about 60 to 70 miles per hour. That will cause tree damage. That will knock down power lines as well once you get winds up into that range.
All right, that being said, you can see the shear here. This is good indication of where we have some wind. I'm going to try to draw this accurately, and we'll move this out as far as I possibly can. Again, we calculated about 35 or so. So just kind of get a sense if I got the direction right. So if this continues, you can kind of see, even if we don't have a tornado here, as Josh mentioned, we do have a pretty good swath of the wind. You can see some of the ETAs here based on 35 miles per hour. So Lone Star about 5:31. Looking at Avenger, you could be impacted by some of the stronger winds. Again, often the strongest winds indicated by the areas of red here. So that could impact much of Lake of the Pines. So that would be Avenger here at 5:40. Hughes Springs, you can see Hughes Springs right about in here at 5:41. Linden, if we were to see it maintain its strength, some gusty winds there in Linden at shortly before 6 o'clock. Lanier, that is south of Linden. You can see how that maybe this part of that wind could arrive there at 6:04. And I mentioned Atlanta, probably about 6:19, 6:20. Same thing for Queen City. So at the very least, we're looking at some pretty good winds, straight line winds from this, and that's what we're kind of seeing here with this shear product here with pinpoint Doppler.
Yeah, we do have another extension of the tornado warning in Arkansas. So the storm that we're watching near Foreman, that warning has been drawn out to include Howard County. So that does include now Dirks as well as Nashville and just a little sliver of Hempstead County. But again, that warning mainly extended into the rest of Sevier County and over into Howard County as well.
All right, so let's take a look at that once again and zero in. Again, we're looking at the circulation that is now moving basically through much of Little River County. So this is the area right in here of concern. And again, near Foreman, I kind of pointed this out earlier. Aleen, Ben Lomond could eventually move up towards Center Point, Nashville could eventually come into play. Again, it's a little bit more difficult to provide a little bit more clarity based on what we're seeing on the radar right now. So we do have a little bit of red here, green towards. Let me take a look at the radar and see what we're looking at as far as, so you see, trying to see if there's a notch there it matches up. Don't see anything definitely there. So again, it is possible. We have a little bit of circulation here, and you can see the orange arrow just popping up. So there is some circulation here in the northwestern sections of Little River County that will soon move into southern and southeastern Sevier County and the southern half of Howard County. Center Point, Nashville, maybe Tillette, maybe the northern edge of Millwood Lake. All could be areas that are impacted by that. At the very least, you're going to get lots of heavy rain from that as well, and maybe a little bit of small hail. Let me pause this as far as the radar and click on this orange arrow here and to see what it says. BTI number, recently, last couple of days, that number has been 5, 6, so it is not as high as it has been given the scenarios that we've had here recently. 4.4, a little bit higher. And notice the hail. It is bigger than quarters possible. Let's click on some of these other severe weather indicators here and see what it's showing. It looks like the hail maybe not as large potentially, maybe quarters there. So maybe a little bit of hail in some of these cells along with the heavy rain. We do have a flood watch, keep in mind, for that part of Arkansas. And Josh made the point earlier that we have some very heavy rain, and again, the history is that we've seen 2 to 3 inches of rain with these storms very quickly in a couple of hours time as they made some progress through a particular location. So that being said, let me go ahead and clear things off here and show you what we have right now as far as the latest on the thunderstorms here across the Arklatex and the tornado warnings. I'm trying to get the radar to clear off for me. But nonetheless, let me go back down to where we do have, again, a tornado warning. Probably right now it is moving very close to the Lone Star area. So this is the area of concern here, moving into extreme southern Morris County. As Josh mentioned earlier, the rotation aspect of things not as impressive as it once was. And obviously the hand tracker is mad at me again. I thought I had figured out what the issue was, but obviously I haven't. So I'm going to try to get this to, I'm going to zoom the map in, see if that matters. So as you can see, another tornado warning just issued, which does include parts of most of Morris County, actually, as well as the northwestern corner of Cass County. Put this in the motion here and see if I can switch over to the velocity scan right now. And can't quite, there it goes. So you can see, I'm going to zoom out this somewhat and put this in the motion, and you can see the motion that we've seen here in the last 30 minutes. And it does look like the brunt of this is going to move on the right side of that warning. So you can see that it actually probably move out of the eastern edge of it. It does look like it's moving more northeast. So again, we do have our possible tornado now. Still confirmed tornado warning, so we haven't heard recently if there's anything on the ground, but let's assume there's a tornado right now on the ground here, very close to Lone Star. Hughes Springs would be in line to maybe be impacted by that. We would eventually see it just kind of projecting things forward just a bit, continue to move in this general direction. Probably between Douglasville and Linden is another location where that could go. And keep in mind, look at the track that it's made. It went from a Rosewood, where we did see the debris signature, to where it is right now in Lone Star. And if that continues, it moves in this general direction. So given its history, and sometimes these things do turn a little bit to the right, so you can kind of clearly see we go from Rosewood to where it is right now. I'm just going to draw a line and draw that out so you can kind of see where it's been, where it is right now, and where it could be. Stupid hand tracker is just not working for me today. All right, so let me grab that again, and hopefully I can get this to work properly. It doesn't like it when it's that far. Gosh, technology sometimes you just want to take it into the closet and give it a big kick. Anyway, here's, again, Rosewood to Lone Star. Maybe it'll be happy now if I zoom out a little bit. I'm going to try this one more time, and then I'm going to give up on that. So again, this is where the tornado was at one point. We saw the debris signature. It is right now in this area, so we'll continue that forward so you can kind of get a sense if that motion were to continue. And again, earlier I remember mentioning 7 o'clock in Atlanta. So that's the path that if we don't see any turns, that is where this could eventually go here moving forward as far as this circulation. So again, we do have the tornado warning, the rotation right now very close to Lone Star. Obviously going to still be some wind with these thunderstorms as well as they move to the north. Let's take a look at the radar here, and you can see the strongest storms. We do have very heavy rain moving into much of Morris County right now. Omaha experiencing that very heavy rain. This is the area of concern as far as the tornado right in here, and that is going to move in the areas that I just pointed out and across the southwestern, the middle, and eastern sections of Cass County moving forward. So that is probably where this tornado is going to be going at the present time. We also have in these areas of purple probably some decent hail falling from this as well. Let's go ahead and pause this right now and show you what's some of the information provided by the radar, and see if I can get the hand tracker to work. And it doesn't look like it's not seeing much there, which doesn't surprise me. So I'm going to give up on that and move on forward. So we could be looking at some decent hail is the point I was trying to make with that. So again, we have one again, confirmed tornado warning for this cell, which is very close to Lone Star. It's going to pass very close to Hughes Springs, and probably continue to pass very close to Hughes Springs, somewhere here north of Linden, and perhaps somewhere near, maybe a little bit north of Atlanta, maybe Queen City. That could be the path that this takes. But you can kind of see how that thing is wrapped up right now. So do still have some very intense, as Josh mentioned, a lot of wind with this. So this very well could be the location somewhere in this area. And even in this entire area, we're looking at the issues with the damaging winds.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of damage reports from that one, a lot of trees on homes, so likely some widespread damaging wind. Don't know if there was tornado damage. I assume there was back towards Rosewood, but at least in other parts of the county there, it looks like there has been some wind damage with that one.
And you can kind of see that as we put the shear in motion. You can kind of see the impact of that, the expanse of it as well. A lot of wind here. Even in Gilmer probably experienced quite a bit of wind. And one thing I haven't shown very much is the when we have wind, obviously the wind downs trees, which causes power outages. So let's take a look at that information as well. And since we've seen this move through a good chunk of Upshur County, you can see the numbers starting to go up. Notice here in this county, I can't remember the name of that county off the top of my head for some reason. It's outside of our viewing area. But nonetheless, you can see that county that's north of Tyler. I'm going to click on some of these counties here, and you'll see how the numbers do go up. Smith County, for that much of a populated county, not a whole lot. And watch the number here in Upshur County go up. So obviously that means we have seen some issues with wind there in Upshur County, especially the northwestern half and northern half of Upshur County as those storms have moved through those areas. Let me zoom this out somewhat and try to, going to have to clear that off, and go further to the north. And you can see we have these strong storms that have moved through McCurtain County as well. So just take a look at some of the power outage numbers. Again, this is an hour's worth, so this kind of shows you the change in the number of power outages here in the last hour. Again, we did have that touchdown there in Red River County near Clarksville. You can see the number has gone up there, and Little River County as well as Sevier County. Just kind of click on those counties and you can see the numbers there. going up now in Sevier County, so it looks like do have some issues with wind there in the Sevier County area. All right, so
I would say that circulation on that storm, it is trying to tighten back up. It's right over Lone Star at the moment and headed up towards Hughes Springs and eventually Midway. So need to be in your place of safety there. We think last probably 15-20 minutes been mainly wind damage, but I do think the circulation has been tightening back up with that one.
Definitely, you can see on the reflectivity here near Lone Star, there's that right in there. It does look like we do have, again, the strengthening of that once again near Lone Star. So this is the area of circulation here, which is, Josh mentioned Hughes Springs. If that progress continues, I'll step out so you can kind of project that forward. We would see it move probably north of Linden, Hughes Springs, north of Linden, maybe a little bit north of Atlanta, Queen City. That could be the eventual path, and we'll zoom out and let you see all of Cass County as that tornado moving through Lone Star right now moves up towards Hughes Springs, eventually probably near or south of Douglasville, between there and Linden, and then Atlanta could be another location that is impacted by that moving forward. So that is the strongest rotation that we have on the radar right now. In fact, Josh mentioned the intensification. Let me stop this and show you that BTI number again. That's a tornado index, and you can see it's up to 5.5. Notice the hail at that'd be ping pongs if they were that big, and you can kind of see if it moves in this northeasterly direction. That's the ETAs, but it looks like the rotation itself is moving more towards the not quite as much to the northeast, maybe more towards the east-northeast, is just based on the movement that we're seeing here with the radar itself. So again, we do have our tornado here, which is very close to Lone Star, approaching Hughes Springs. Will move into the middle of Cass County. I'm going to put this into motion during the past 15 minutes, so it's a little bit slower. So you can see the progress of that as we move through the past 15 minutes, and just kind of a look at the traditional radar scan, and you can kind of see this area right in here. This is the area that we would have to be concerned about, which is moving in this direction. So again, near, maybe a little bit north of Hughes Springs, north of Linden, maybe a little bit north of Atlanta, but sometimes we've seen these things sometime turn a little bit to the right. So everyone here in the middle part and eastern part of Cass County, watch this very closely, and eventually downstream, we'll have to keep an eye on it here in especially the central sections of Miller County moving forward. So let me go ahead and clear that off of the radar and kind of stop things here and show you what is happening elsewhere. So again, watching this cell here, which is moving through Lone Star, moving towards Hughes Springs. Let's go back up north, where we do have some weaker rotations happening right now. We did have the extension of a tornado warning for northern Howard County. That is going to continue to move through that part of the county. Again, somewhat difficult to see anything as far as pinpointing anything as far as where that possible tornado may be, and the same goes for this area here. This could be the location somewhere in here where we could have some issues. That would be up north of Ben Lomond, headed towards the center point, and you can see another little area down here further to the south that may be worth watching. But again, it's much more difficult to kind of zero in on exactly that aspect of things. Here's a look at the wind and the shear, and nothing that I can really point out from that particular product. So again, that's the latest on the storms that are currently moving through the northern sections of Arkansas. So things going downhill now in Dirks, going downhill in Ben Lomond, Wilton, Ashdown, a little bit of light rain right now. You're going to get some of this activity that'll move in that's further to your southwest, and you are going to get quite a bit of rain here over the northern sections of the Arklatex here during the course of the evening hours. And just move downstream here, we have seen again the heavy rain in DeKalb. New Boston getting some rain right now, and all of this is going to be moving northeast into New Boston, but right now no warnings as of yet for the New Boston area. And again, pretty much dry in Texarkana, and the camera here in Texarkana does look to the northwest. So let's take a quick look at that before we go back to the storm that's now down and moving into Cass County. You can see this camera looks to the northwest. You can see it does look kind of ominous there as we look at the Texarkana New Holland camera there on Summer Hill Road in Texarkana. So it looks like further to the south and west, we're watching our tornado, which is again going to be moving. It's just moved through close to Lone Star. Hughes Springs is coming on the map here. It's going to be moving very close to Hughes Springs and then probably passing between Douglasville and Linden and maybe a little bit to the south. If you know someone here at Wright-Patman, again, this is Friday. There are a couple campgrounds here. Tell them they do have some big storms coming, and there is a tornado near Hughes Springs that probably will stay to the south of Wright-Patman. But nonetheless, may want to let them know that got some bad stuff coming if they're not already aware of that. So everyone here, basically from Linden and points north, Atlanta points north, here in Cass County, we do have, again, this tornado which is now moving into Hughes Springs. Another quick look at the velocity scan, see if we see any changes with that one. And you can see right here, this is the area of concern where we have our spin near Hughes Springs. That is moving towards the north and east. So it does look like it's going to move along the right edge, perhaps, of this tornado warning that we currently have in place. In Marietta, Omaha, Naples, you've gotten probably the alert on your phone. It does look like this is going to stay, it has moved to your south. So I would say that unless we see something develop back further to the southwest, you're probably pretty much okay. Again, the main concern is going to be over the southwestern, central, and northeastern sections of Cass County as this tornado continues to head off towards the north and east. Let's zoom out somewhat and go back to the traditional radar. I made the point earlier that we're going to have to keep an eye on the storms that are further to the south. You can see we do have some storms moving through the Longview or the Tyler area right now, but notice no orange or red boxes down here. So these storms, as of right now, are not severe, but we'll have to keep an eye on those as they gradually move to the north and east. So it's a good sign that we have not had any really significant warnings to the south of Interstate 20 right now, and we'll be watching to see if that trend continues during the rest of the evening hours this evening. So that being said, let's take another look at the radar here and kind of go down the line, and you can see the thunderstorms that we have. And again, you can see Little Rock continuing a severe thunderstorm warning for this cell over the northern sections of Howard County. At the very least, we have some wind here. There is some weak rotation associated with that. Weak rotation also indicated here moving through the southeastern sections of Sevier County. That will move into the southern sections of Howard County. Again, nothing that you can really kind of point at saying there's a tornado right here. It's just not possible for me to do that. At the very least, you can see a lot of wind, however, that could be an issue with those thunderstorms. And again, we have seen some power issues with these storms, as I pointed out earlier, there further to the west in McCurtain County. Right now, the only confirmed tornado warning that we have is with this storm right now that is now moving through Lone Star and Hughes Springs, at least the spin that we have here. So this is the area that we're watching very closely where we could be looking at some issues. And that storm is going to move, as I keep mentioning, probably along the right side or the east side of this tornado watch that we are warning that we currently have in place there for much of Cass County. Again, this warning is in effect until 6:30 p.m. this evening, so another 45 minutes of this warning being in place here for that part of Cass County. And again, northern Morris County, I really don't think you have much to worry about. Same thing applies for you folks watching over the western edge of Bowie County. It looks like this is going to, at least as far as the tornado aspect of this, stay well to your south and to your east at the present time based on what's on the current radar. Zooming out once again, another issue as we continue to watch the progress of that one storm. Another issue that we have often mentioned here is the rainfall that we're going to be seeing here with these storms. And I showed you this earlier, and this is basically the amount of rain that we've seen across the Arklatex here based on the Shreveport radar just during the past 3 hours. And you can see that the amounts here, especially with this cell, the strongest storm that we have right now, we do have some spots that have picked up. I do have it on, so we do have some spots here that have picked up upwards of going on 5 inches of rain. And anywhere you see yellow, that's at least 2 inches, some spots 3 inches. You can see the heavy rain here in Red River County, where we do have a flash flood warning. So we could see issues with flooding as this whole area here very well could continue to expand to the north and east. So I expect to see the possibility for some heavy rain there in the Texarkana area here as we progress away.
We actually are. We're in a high risk of the excessive rainfall along and north of Interstate 30. So we sometimes talk about how severe thunderstorms on a day like today, will rank those on a scale of 1 to 5. Weather Prediction Center does the same thing. They rate these rainfall or flooding potentials on a scale of 1 to 4. So we have that level 4 high risk of flash flooding basically everywhere north of I-30. You're getting those strong storms right now, but those storms that are over in Texas will eventually move up there as well. So you'll probably wind up with over 5-6 inches of rain in those locations.
Exactly, and there's that map. Again, as Josh mentioned, we often show you the low, slight, moderate risk of severe weather. Weather Prediction Center does the same thing for excessive rain or flooding, and it's not very often we see purple, and you can see we do have that over the northern parts of the Arklatex where some of that heavy rain is falling. And even, northeast Texas, where we are watching the heavy rain fall right now, we do have that moderate risk. So there is that possibility as, again, if you know someone who is traveling this evening, encounters the heavy rain, especially during the latter stages of this event, even afterwards, we could have some flooded roadways. So keep that in mind. If rain ends, you're headed out maybe through a low-lying area that you're aware of, just keep in mind that there is the possibility for some flooding as well. And it definitely is going to be highest, especially this evening and overnight over the northwestern half of the Arklatex here in southwest Arkansas, northeast Texas, and southeast Oklahoma. And as far as the rainfall here during the next couple of days, this will pretty much cover everything that we're going to be seeing here. This is, again, the outlook from the Weather Prediction Center, and this is just during the next few days. In this area of purple, that's more than 7 inches. The areas of red, it's 5 inches. You can see 4 to 5 inches in Texarkana. The area of yellow here, that's 2 to 3 inches of rain. So we are looking at a decent amount of rain. Now, some of this is going to come tomorrow with the storms that are anticipated, but again, flooding is going to remain a concern. All right, so now that we touched on the flooding aspect of the storms that we'll be dealing with here, let's switch back over to Pinpoint Doppler and show you the update on the location of the heavy rain moving into Dirks. We do have, again, a little bit of rotation here, which is just about ready to cross into Howard County. Let's take a look at the velocity scan and see if I can pinpoint anything specific. This looks like it's about ready to cross out of Howard County, if we have anything there. And then we were watching this area here. Nothing really that I can point out to you is, that saying that we have much of anything there is very weak at the present time based on where the radar is seeing this information. Let me call up the Fort Smith radar here very quickly and see if I can bring that back up. And you can see a little bit more clarity here from the Fort Smith radar. So we do have, again, perhaps a little bit of rotation here moving along U.S. Highway 70 there outside of Dirks, headed towards Daisy State Park here in Pike County. And again, we do have again, another area. So red away, green towards. So we do have a little bit of broad rotation here indicated on the Fort Smith radar. They're moving across the southern sections of Sevier County. So that is the latest on those circulations. So I'm going to switch back to the Shreveport radar and show you what's happening again with that storm that's now in Cass County. So back to the Shreveport radar, and there we are. We'll switch back down to the south. Notice nothing as far as spin in Bowie County right now. This is the area of concern here, which is again moved through Lone Star and is moving towards the northeast. Does look like it's going to, if you project this forward, move up north of between Linden and Douglasville. Kind of expand that somewhat, just to be sure. So it could go in this general direction. So Douglasville, Linden, Atlanta, Queen City, up to Wright-Patman could all be places that are impacted by this. And just the, we talked earlier about the wind issues, as there have been some issues with wind over much of Upshur County. I showed you the power outages there earlier. So you can see the swath of wind that is associated with this. And I'm going to once again attempt to draw that out. So let me pause this right now, and I'll do just a kind of a storm swath, if you will, based on the wind that we have with the radar to kind of draw that out. We know it's moving in this general direction. I'll maybe make it a little bit further to the north, and it's moving at about 35-ish. So you can see the ETAs of, at the very least, some wind issues. 609, Lanier and Linden, Douglasville 621, Atlanta 631, and the Queen City 632, and Bloomberg further to the south, I believe down here somewhere. Bloomberg's right there at 642. So that is where at the very least we're going to have some wind issues. And at the top of this, obviously we're looking at the possibility of that tornado as well. So you can kind of see Shreveport radar down here, red away, green towards. So we have our circulation right in here, and again the possible tornado there in the southwestern sections of Cass County. So I don't have a, Josh, have you heard anything as far as a touchdown with that recently?
Nothing there. Again, that thing is so rain wrapped. I know there's a few eyes on it, but we haven't heard anything from them in the last 10 to 15 minutes, or at least, at the very least, we still have a pretty rapidly rotating wall cloud, I think, with that one. So it is trying to get organized, but it's just having a difficult time doing so, which is obviously okay with us, but yes, it is definitely still trying to tighten up.
You mentioned the rotating wall cloud. Was there a exact location on that?
That would have been close to, that would have been a little bit earlier when it was over towards between Lone Star and Hughes Springs.
Okay, okay. Okay, so Lone Star, Hughes Springs right here. So again, that would be this area right here. So again, this is the area that we're looking at. And again, just to kind of give you a sense, of course, a lot of eyes in Texarkana right now probably watching. So let me show you the last 30 minutes of this so you can kind of get a sense on where this could be going. So if we see this motion continue, you can see it coming pretty close to Texarkana here in the next couple of hours. So again, Texarkana, you have to keep an eye on it. Maybe move to your south. Definitely Fouke, Genoa. Watch this very closely. So if this does hold together, at the very least, you're going to see quite a bit of wind. In fact, I'll just kind of interpolate this out just a bit to kind of show you. I'm just going to go from here, right in the middle of it. And so, again, it crosses the state line here. You can kind of see that motion, assuming it were to move towards Texarkana right around 7 o'clock. At Genoa, in this whole area, if it gets to that area right around 7 o'clock, we would see it. Maybe Texarkana, if it moves that far to the north. Definitely the rain by that time, and I'll track that here in a second. But we're probably looking at the issues here moving into Miller County pretty close to 7 o'clock. And again, obviously much sooner, as I pointed out earlier there in Cass County. So that is, for those of you watching in Texarkana, that's the status of things right now. And you can see look at the radar right now as far as what's happening elsewhere. Let me go ahead and try to get, there we go. So again, this is what we're looking at right now as far as the thunderstorms. Very intense thunderstorms extending here from northern Howard County. We did have a little bit of a weak rotation. You can kind of see the notch associated with it that has moved out of northern Howard County, now moving into northwestern Pike County. Leading edge of very intense thunderstorms now moving into southern Howard County. So in Nashville, expect some wind and very heavy rain. There is a little bit of rotation that I pointed out earlier here. We do have a tornado warning because of that, given the parameters that we have today, but radar is not showing too much as of right now. But nonetheless, that would move up towards the Nashville area, and you can see the line of storms here. A little bit of rain just west of Texarkana right now, and all of this heavy rain, as I mentioned, probably going to arrive in Texarkana in the next hour as far as the some of the heavier downpours, at least this part of the wind issues arriving in Texarkana shortly, right around 7 o'clock or so. And you can see the expanse of this moving forward, and how all these cells are moving towards the north and east. So it does look like the main focus of the stronger storms here during the rest of the evening hours will be over southwest Arkansas, the northern half of northeast Texas, probably most of it north of Interstate 20. Notice that these cells over the southern edge of this cluster of storms are not severe right now, though we do have a lot of rain associated with them, obviously. So that's the issues. And again, if you're watching in Shreveport, we're looking pretty much okay as of right now. And it looks like there's good agreement in the high-res models that all of this activity probably will stay to our north and west. We did have, when that tornado watch was issued, we did have some cells that popped up here to the south of us, but those very quickly have fallen apart. So I'm not too worried about issues, at least this evening, as far as severe weather in Shreveport. Our turn will be tomorrow. Probably this time tomorrow evening, we'll be dealing with some strong storms over our part of the Arklatex. So again, just kind of give you another look at the storm that we have right now, which is moving out of Cass County or into Cass County, and kind of zero in on the velocity scan of the radar. I got to be more patient with the hand tracker, apparently. So you can see.
It's definitely broadening out. I think the circulation is falling apart, so there's probably still some wind with that. So it would be very telling over the next 10 minutes to see if that tries to wrap back up while it's over Cass County there, or if it just remains a wind threat. And
just to look at, I'm going to just click on the velocity aspect of this and pause it, and I'm going to show you the just the velocity away and towards, just to kind of give you a sense. I forgot to grab this. Let me clean this up a little bit. All right, so I'll grab this tool here, and this will tell me what the winds are in here. So I'm going to grab the brighter red right there. Hopefully it gets it right. So you can see 60 away. It is kind of broad, and what we're looking for are these reds and greens to be close together. So I'm going to, there looks like a, try to grab the brighter green. So you got 36 towards. And you can see how that number changed as the bright color moved away. So there is quite a bit of wind in that, none the least. And I kind of pointed this out earlier. You can see the wind probably strongest on the south part of that in terms of the straight line wind. And I'll put this into motion here during the past 15 minutes, and you can see the progress of that. So eventually we're looking at Linden and Lanier, of the wind issues from that, and that, if it continues to progress in the fashion that it has been exhibiting, that we will see it move into Atlanta. So the straight line winds could be an issue in Atlanta. Same thing for the Bloomberg, Texas area. So this kind of shows us the shear in the atmosphere. Again, sometimes I've noticed with stronger thunderstorms that we tend to see with these red areas a good matching between where we have some wind damage and those red areas on this particular product. So again, that wind issue, perhaps the straight line wind, moving more towards the southern Cass County there in that part of Cass County, Linden, Lanier, and all that part of their area. So again, let's go back to the velocity scan and show you the progress of this. Again, this was quite a bit tighter, as Josh mentioned, back here back when it was between Dangerfield and Hughes Springs. We'll see if it can crank back up again, but we do still have maybe this area of concern here southeast of Midway. That is, again, between Linden and Douglasville is where that could eventually move here in the next several minutes. So that is the latest on the storms that we have right now across the Arklatex. Let's move south, and you can see that we don't have anything here as far as thunderstorms that are severe south of Interstate 20. And notice these cells here near Henderson as they move to the north. Some of that activity is weakening somewhat. So again, that could be a good sign, as I mentioned earlier, for East Texas, deep East Texas, and northwest Louisiana. We do have the very heavy rain, which, again, as we just pointed out, there is a high risk of flooding in these areas here during the day today and night because of the potential for heavy rain. But notice that we've seen this wave of thunderstorms move out of McCurtain County, so we probably are looking okay there for now. We'll probably wait till later on tonight, late tonight, tomorrow morning, maybe have another round of thunderstorms unless storms further to the southwest will develop. So I do think McCurtain County, as well as most of Red River County, probably in the clear as far as any issues with severe weather as a result of these thunderstorms right now. So again, we do have, again, the tornado warnings here for especially Howard County until 6:15. So that expires in just a little bit more than 10 minutes with a little bit of rotation that is now, again, indicated on the radar. Again, more visible with the Fort Smith radar than the Shreveport radar. So this is the area of concern here, but we haven't had anything as far as touchdown confirmed from this rotation as it's moved across McCurtain County, Little River County, and Sevier County. And just with that said, look at the power numbers, outage numbers here. You can see the pretty marginal as far as the numbers. You can see just to click on Little River County as well as Sevier County. Notice that this did move through, at least one part of this moved through the northwestern sections of Little River County, and we have seen a little bit of an uptick there in Sevier County. That could be from the wind from those thunderstorms right now. And you can see down to the south, notice the numbers here where we did see the stronger winds from that strong thunderstorm. You can see Upshur County here, the numbers over 2,500, and you can see the numbers starting to go up there in Morris as well as Cass County. So this could be the result of the winds that we've been telling you about there in Cass County. So this is evidence that we have had some issues with some wind damage with these thunderstorms. Go back to the Shreveport radar here, and what we're looking at as far as the velocity scan of things. So this is the area of concern right in here. Is that we did watch this move from Lone Star moving up towards the north and east, and again, you can see the shear at the very least, which is taking place here. So it's been a while since we've had anything as far as a confirmed touchdown from this particular thunderstorm right now. So again, at the very least, we're looking at some wind from these as they will be moving into Douglasville, Linden, as well as Lanier here, moving forward here fairly shortly. I don't know that we have heard any other issues with damage anywhere. Have you heard anything elsewhere across the Arklatex, Josh?
Nothing. Just there was one report of injury with the tornado that likely touched down in the Clarksville area. I know Dan had mentioned we had some home damage over there, but at least one injury with the storms there in Clarksville. It's been awfully quiet as far as any kind of reports coming out with the storms in McCurtain County as well as Arkansas. Still looks like maybe just a little bit of rotation with that storm crossing Highway 71. That's up in Sevier County. So the Weather Service is carrying that warning. That goes for another 10 minutes. That warning goes until 6:15. But again, we have not had any reports on that storm probably in the last hour or so causing any damage or any areas of rotation there. And you can see they did draw a new tornado warning on our storm that we're keeping an eye on there, moving out of the Midway area through Cass County. So again, did have the confirmed tornado with that, but they have redrawn the warning. Looks like they'll probably take down the confirmed messaging on that, but still a little bit of rotation with that one as well. But it looks mainly just some wind issues with that storm. Those are the only reports that we have seen with that one since it's moved out of the Gilmer area.
All right, so I'm going to take a look at all the storm reports and let those pop on here, and you can see the reports that we've had. And of course, these are flooding. You have hail reports, and again, there's a report of the tornado earlier today, and did have obviously some wind issues in the Clarksville area. That probably will be surveyed and changed to tornado damage. A little bit of damage here that was observed. That occurred earlier this afternoon in Millerton. We were watching a circulation that was moving through that part of McCurtain County, so that could be a result. That may be surveyed as well, as there have been some reports of trees and power line damages there in parts of McCurtain County. But notice we don't have much of those reports where the storms have moved through most recently further to the east. Sometimes there is a delay from when those reports do get reported. So it doesn't necessarily mean we haven't seen anything. It's just that we haven't heard about anything. And I don't think we've called, anybody here has called about any issues with wind damage as well, as these storms have moved through various parts of the Arklatex. Okay, so let's go back and show you what we have right now. And again, Josh mentioned the weak rotation here, which just crossed 71. That has since moved into Howard County. You can see a new severe thunderstorm watch has been drawn by a warning, I should say, has been drawn up by the Weather Service here. That's in effect until 7 p.m. For this cluster of thunderstorms over the northern sections of the Arklatex there, parts of Sevier, Howard, northern Hempstead, small part of Little River County as well for these thunderstorms, which could be producing some hail and some rather gusty winds at the present time as they move through that part of the Arklatex. Further to the south, Josh mentioned the redrawing of this tornado warning here, as we have, again, the rotation, which is much more difficult to pinpoint right now, which is moving towards the north and east. That could eventually move up towards the Texarkana area as it progresses its way towards the north and east. And let's give you another look at how the rotation is shaping up. It is become much more difficult to pinpoint exactly.
I'm keeping an eye on it. Looks like it may be trying to cycle something up maybe near Marietta.
Yeah, I just noticed that right there south of Marietta. It looks like we have something trying to tighten back up again. So this may be one to watch. So again, these things evolve, and we see these briefly spin up, and then we kind of lose to where we can identify exactly where they are. But this could be the location of where we have something trying to respin here just south of Marietta. And just to kind of project that forward, if it does continue to move in this general direction, looks like it may have weakened there in the last little bit of a scan there.
I agree.
Yeah, so that may be just a temporary type of spin up. So that is moving to the north and east. So this might be the area that we'll have to keep an eye on with this as we move forward here. And that would move up towards, there's Wright-Patman and Redwater. And again, all of this, as you can kind of see this whole area, if anything, there's a lot of wind here. And this is going to move in this general direction. So Texarkana is in play for this to move into that part of the Arklatex. So let me just go kind of see what the shear product shows, and you can kind of see how what I just pointed out, and if we project that forward, given this northeasterly movement. So Texarkana could be in the line of fire, if you will, as far as the wind, and obviously all the other points here. So we do have, as I pause this for right now, we do have this last tornado warning that is in place. trying to get this to, here we go. That is purple box, this new box. I don't think it's going to click for me. But nonetheless, it's probably the same time until 6:30 p.m. This evening. So at the very least, we have some wind. It's kind of hard right now to pinpoint exactly. Will we probably have a tornado here? It's kind of difficult to say right now based on what is on the radar right now. Again, this storm does have the history of the occasional spin up. Right now, we're kind of watching maybe this area here could be a source of some issues, and we'll be watching this whole area here for any signs of that. Could be a little bit here north of Linden also, and not seeing much else on the bottom side of it. So again, this is all wind towards the radar, which is obviously down in Shreveport. I'm going to see what the velocity itself, not the storm relative, but the velocity itself, see what it's showing here. And let's see. Okay. I think I moved too fast for it. I think that's what the issue is. And you can see the outbounds here. So we're still looking at quite a bit of wind at the very least. You know, a good 60 plus a possibility with these thunderstorms that are now moving through Cass County especially. Show you the radar and the motion that these have been taking here in the last half hour. And you can see the progress that they've made and kind of zoom this out. So again, all of this, we're going to see things go downhill fairly quickly in terms of the rain, at the very least in Texarkana right now. The rain, very light rain starting to move into the city, but it is going to pick up here relatively shortly. And again, once it begins, all of this rain is going to move over the same area. So there's going to be a lot of rain here in southwest Arkansas, the northern half of northeast Texas, and looks like we're pretty much done with the heaviest rain there in the southeastern sections of Oklahoma, there in McCurtain County. So that is what we have on the radar right now. Let's just go from north to south and show you what we have on the screen. And you can see the strong thunderstorms with the very heavy rain moving through parts of Howard County. We do technically have a tornado warning in place there, but again, it's somewhat difficult to see any significant to point out exactly where. So maybe in this general area here, it's kind of hard to see exactly where we might have anything spinning, but again, we do have the thunderstorms in that part of Howard County. So let's go back to the radar. At the very least, lots of lightning, heavy rain, wind, maybe some hail. You can see the new severe thunderstorm warning that is issued, and that is the only other tornado warning that we have right now. So let's hope that we can catch a break and not see this extended, although I'm not holding my breath, given the trend that we've seen today.
Yeah, they're saying the environment is just so conducive for tornadoes. I think even if we're not seeing much with it, they'll probably draw that next warning over towards Texarkana.
Yeah, probably so. But nonetheless, that's where the storms are currently located across the Arklatex, and you can see the storms right now. This is the history of this storm is that we did have, again, the touchdown here, moved through Rosewood, and then made its way in terms of that rotation, which was rather impressive, across the northern half of Upshur County. And we did see the things become more basically spread out, if you will, as it moved past Lone Star. And now we're just kind of watching these notches for any spinners that we may see try to develop in these areas. So as of right now, it's kind of difficult to pinpoint exactly where. And this is one area right here. You can see right, I'll point it out, that Josh pointed out a few minutes ago, right there is where we did see it. It looks like a little bit of a, now it looks like right in here we could have something that may be worth watching. So we'll be watching this part of the line just south of Douglasville very closely as well. And not seeing much else behind it that I can point out as an issue. So again, this whole area here may be, again, maybe a little bit south of Texarkana. We could see it. It is moving to the northeast. So I'll show that motion with Texarkana on the screen here, and you can see that at the very least the wind will move. If you draw a line like this, you know, Texarkana points south, probably where the strongest of the wind from this will eventually occur.
And you were just talking about that warning in Arkansas. They have allowed that one to expire, so this is the first time in about 3 hours that we're just dealing with a single tornado warning.
It's only been 3 hours, Josh?
It may have been more. I don't know.
Yeah. But we did have, when we started, I think we had three, I know at the very least three that we had at one time, obviously most of them outside of our area, but nonetheless, it could be a good sign that we only have one right now, so let's hope that trend continues moving forward. So you can see the issues that we're going to be looking at. Probably this warning expires here pretty shortly. I believe it's 6:30, so we got another 15 minutes with this particular warning, so we'll keep tabs on this. And again, it's kind of difficult to right now point out an exact location. At the very least, we have some issues with wind that is going to be experienced as all of this moves to the northeast. And I'll zoom this out and kind of see if you kind of interpolate that green area out to the northeast, you can kind of get a sense on where that could be headed. So you can see those arrows pointing to the northeast, that we could see this impact, especially the areas near Texarkana and points to the south. So that, at the very least, we're going to have some issues with some wind as a result of these.
Yeah, we do have some viewers in Texarkana saying they're hearing the thunder picking up there and seeing lightning on the Bowie County side of things, probably close to Wake Village. So it's not uncommon you get these thunderstorm tops that the wind's so strong it blows those thunderstorm tops in the direction of Texarkana. So we're watching the storm a county away from you, but the thunderstorm tops kind of overshoot towards the Texarkana area, and you often get some lightning out of those overshooting anvil tops, we call those. So that's why you're hearing some thunder and lightning in Texarkana. Again, the short-term danger would just be some of that cloud-to-ground lightning there in the Texarkana area as Todd kind of pulls up the camera. But you're a good probably at least 20 to 30 minutes or so from catching a lot of the wind with the storm. So if you're in Texarkana, you just kind of stay inside. There's just a ton of cloud-to-ground lightning with this storm as it's moving into Texarkana. That's why you're hearing all the thunder there right now. But again, the part of the storm that we're watching with the rotation and where we'd be expecting to see the high wind, that is still a good 20 to 30 minutes away from you. But definitely going to see the rain pick up there if it hasn't already in Texarkana. The rain's just going to get heavier over the next hour or so. But I do think, just based on where that storm's moving, it will probably stay on the Bowie County side of things, maybe crossing just to the west or maybe just to the north of Texarkana. But we'll see. This thing's looking pretty ragged, the storm right now, but if it tries to reorganize, it will maybe take a different path. But again, in Texarkana, just some lightning right now, but the wind likely to pick up in the next 20 to 30 minutes.
And not a whole lot of rain either right now with that camera. Notice the flag there at Texas High is blowing away from us. So, and a little bit of an uptick in the wind, but nothing. You can see the trees bouncing just a bit. And that wind will be increasing, obviously, this evening as those storms. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, say another tornado warning coming out. This one will be for a circulation near Nashville, Arkansas.
Okay, another tornado warning for Nashville, Arkansas, way up north. So let's see again what we're looking at here for this particular tornado warning. That I'm going to switch over to the Fort Smith radar because it usually gives me a better view. And let's see if I can see anything here. That radar doesn't work for me, so I'll switch to the Shreveport radar and see if I can see anything from that one. And let's see.
And it's very difficult to see. We're basically splitting hairs here between the Fort Smith and the Shreveport radar, so kind of difficult to see. But yeah, there may be some rotation there. We'll probably see that warning pop on there pretty soon. Okay, so it's going to, obviously, it's not going to last very long because it's just about out of
Howard County. So again, we're probably looking at this part of the storm here. Let's go to the traditional radar, and again, we're looking at perhaps a rotation that we can't find right now, which is somewhere near Nashville, that is going to move towards the north and east and impact, eventually move into Pike County. So that is, eventually you'll see that new tornado warning come on the screen, but we'll come back to that once we get that warning back on to come on the screen. So again, this warning here, again, at one point this was confirmed. It's we've had a new warning drawn that is now red, as it's been a while since we've seen anything as far as a confirmation from this activity, which is going to move into Texarkana. Now, Texarkana, you're going to get a lot of heavy rain and thunder, but the strongest of the wind perhaps may pass over near Texarkana and points to the south, perhaps, just based on this information. And just looking at the velocity scan of the radar, you can see that too. Again, all this, if you project that forward, is where, and we're going to be watching this part of this very closely for any signs of obvious location where we do have some spin. If anything, it'd be you know, at the very tip of that might be a location that we would have to watch back further to the north and west as well. But I'm not seeing anything right now that is alarming to say that we have anything kind of worth. Josh pointed out this one. I keep seeing that when I loop the radar right in there near Marietta. That's the type of stuff that we're looking at. And again, this last scan does show something somewhat weaker but similar here, perhaps near Douglasville. So that's what we're looking at. Again, we probably go ahead, Josh.
I believe they've canceled that warning. I believe that may be replaced by a severe thunderstorm warning shortly. Yeah.
All right, that's actually good news. So they canceled the warning here. The tornado warning has been canceled, and we will, what I'm going to do is we're going to wait for that new severe thunderstorm warning to come out. And let's see, we do have the new tornado warning that has been issued here. Actually, it hasn't popped on the map. There it is, near Nashville. That cell is about to move out of Howard County and out of the Nashville area. Again, maybe this right in here is what we were looking at, as far as right in there, as could have been what we were looking at. And again, that is a little bit of a rotation near Nashville right now. That is very shortly going to move out of Howard County. And again, that tornado warning in effect until 6:45, and then it moves out of Howard County before we get to that point. So we're going to, that warning, a tornado warning has been canceled according to Josh, or they will be soon canceling it. And there is a new severe thunderstorm warning that is now in place. And you can see the location of that severe thunderstorm with the hail and some wind. Probably looking at some wind even outside of that box here. So that new severe thunderstorm warning is in effect. Let me pause the radar again and kind of stop this. And you can see pretty good amount of hail. Notice some blacks there. Notice the hail size. So we do have at least golf balls from this, and we could be looking at egg size as well. And if this gets to 2.5, that's tennis balls. So that is quite a bit of hail in this as it's moving over Wright-Patman, at least the western edge of Wright-Patman Lake right now. So you can see here is Wright-Patman, and that would be the western edge of the lake. So you can see this black here. It's possible we have a decent amount of hail associated with that. So that's going to be one of the main issues, a little bit of wind associated with this. We'll be watching this area near Douglasville for any possible spin-outs. But right now, it doesn't look like we have much. So again, the main issue with this thunderstorm warning, which is in effect until 7 p.m., is going to be the potential for some rather large hail, as well as some damaging winds, probably of upwards of 60 miles per hour. I see Megan's in the thunder truck. I don't know if she still has her signal on anymore, so I'm going to take a quick peek and see what she's seeing from her vantage point.
Yeah, I believe they were riding around the loop.
That's what it looks like. So it looks like there's Megan Henry, and they're in Texarkana. Looks like awaiting the arrival of what could be some hail there in Texarkana. Looks like one of the bigger threats just based on the current radar. But that is a view, just kind of give you a refresher. Megan was looking at a storm in parks just south of Idabel with a rotation that we were tracking that never really touched down. And then that's another circulation passed to the south of there, just north of DeKalb on 259. We didn't see anything as far as evidence of damage from that one. And now Megan's hanging out in Texarkana. We're going to await the arrival of that thunderstorm, which has just prompted a severe thunderstorm warning to be issued there for for much of northern Cass and Bowie County. So again, that's the view from the Ray 4 Thunder truck that we have right now there on the loop. You can see the progress of the truck there on the Texas side there in Bowie County. Megan may be moving down here just to avoid all the hail. Wouldn't want to damage the truck, right, Josh?
I will tell her to move right now.
Because there's some hail coming. Let's put this into motion. You can see the last 30 minutes and the hail right in here, which has been moving towards the north and east. And notice we're starting to see more blacks in there as well. So we are looking at the potential for some very large hail that would perhaps impact Maud, Redwater. Let me bring up that aspect of the data here and show you the hail path. This is actually kind of cleans things up just a bit. This will show us the history of the hail and show you the path of that. So you can see the history of the storm and the hail that it's, and just the length. Look at the length of that. That is as it develops southwest of Tyler near Athens, and notice how the storm reports all line up in that, and notice how we haven't had any recently. So if you project that forward, you can see excuse me, that we will see this path of hail probably impact the Texarkana area. So if you have an option, you have the car maybe parked on the curb and park it under the carport or the garage. May want to do that if you live in the Texarkana area, especially the areas south of I-30. Areas north of I-30 may be okay, but again, anywhere in Texarkana, you may want to, if you can, protect the car from the large hail. You can see the hail that we've had, less persistent here with the storms further to the north. So this has been the main hail producer that we've seen, and notice the darker colors here recently, so we've seen a little bit of an uptick in that. So that's going to be another possible impact of these thunderstorms. And since I have this wide, you can see the power outage numbers going up across the area. Notice the number continues to go up there in Cass County. This is during the past, I believe, hour is what I have this set on. So you can see the power outages here going up, just doubling there with the last. We get a report of this every 10 minutes. So these are 10-minute increments that the colors change, and you can see the numbers here in Upshur County also continuing to go up, and we probably will see these Bowie and Miller counties also tend to increase. And just a note of the change there in Sevier County, you notice that they're up over 1,000 power outages. So likely at the very least some wind issues with those cells that we were watching there earlier in now moving through parts of Howard County. So that's one issue. Let's go back up to that part of the Arklatex. And since we were looking at this cell, that did prompt the Weather Service to issue a tornado warning. It's very difficult to pinpoint exactly where we are looking. I would suspect it's that area right here, and that has since moved out of Howard County into the far northwestern corner of Hempstead County, and it will move into southern Pike County. So it looks like we're pretty much done with that issue. In fact, well, I thought that was the cancellation of this one. So this one, again, is in effect until, I believe, 7 o'clock, and we're going to see that move out of there, or is it? Yes. 6:45. Then we'll see it move out of the warning area here in the next couple of minutes. We'll see that threat diminish. So it does look like that what rotation we were looking at has moved past the Nashville area, and have not heard of anything as far as any damage from any of these cells so far there in in that part of the Arctic. So again, looking at the wind issues, we have all this wind here, which is going to be moving north and eastward. You can see the issues. In addition to the wind, we have quite a bit of hail associated with that thunderstorm, hence the severe thunderstorm warning that is currently in place here for parts of Bowie County. You can see an uptick in the dark blacks here right over Wright-Patman. That is going to move, just kind of move that forward here.
And radar is estimating
that this whole area is moving up, probably Redwater, and eventually will impact the Texarkana area as far as the hail from that particular thunderstorm. So given the fact that we only have that one tornado warning, and it is 6:30, and it looks like the rotation associated with this has moved out of Howard County and pretty much out of Hempstead County. We're going to send it back to regular programming right now. Just kind of quick summary before I do that. You can see a line of thunderstorms which is formed here across the northern sections of the Arctic. This line is gradually going to continue. The cells move to the northeast. Issues that we'll have, still a possibility for a tornado or two as we go through the next several hours. We do have a tornado watch in effect until 9 p.m. Flooding is going to be an issue as these cells have a history of dropping 2 to upwards of 4 inches of rain. That issue will be highest here across northeast Texas and southwest Arkansas. And again, we do have this cell, the occasional report of large hail also going to be an issue. Josh and I will continue to monitor these cells as they continue to move across the Arctic, and of course let you know if we have anything more as far as tornado warnings issued.